Hey y'all, this is your girl MSAWAYKIN. Now I'm here to explain a couple of things to you guys. I'm gonna try my best to be as quick as possible, but I can't promise you anything. This actually might take a good minute. I can't give you a time frame, but if I keep you longer than you like, you're welcome to restart it or finish it off at a later time. But if I take longer than what you can deal with, please do not charge it to my heart. Just charge it to my mind. I want to be able to do this in order as much as possible, to be able to really make this thing, to show and really bring to life the intentions that I have for bringing up the whole MSAWAYKIN thing about me. This is why I call myself MSAWAYKIN. I understand where I come from, and because of that, I know who I am. Because of any type of embedded past traumas, triggers, triumphs, and even addictions, whether I've seen it or I've experienced it, okay? Whether it was something economically oppressing or prosperous, I've experienced it. Whether it came to getting someone to be wrapped around my finger or having me wrapped around theirs. Been on both sides of that spectrum. We all have dealt with these things before. But I realized when you lack balance, you lack clarity. When you lack balance, you lack clarity. How does that work? So glad you asked. If I lack balance and I have to be on some part of the spectrum, I'm going to favor one side over the other rather than staying constantly neutral through the entire situation, not being wavered by this, not being wavered by that. And even if it does happen, it's a part of me being a human being, living a human experience. As a spiritual being, I'm a spiritual being living a natural human experience, not the other way around. And because of that, I'm trying to find my path. And because of that, yes, Apostle, you can call me shortly. I'll be waiting for your call. God bless you. Because I don't understand the balance very well, because I'm trying to find my way, you understand? I made my own path broad. So now I'm experiencing both ends of the spectrum, but as I'm teeter-totting back and forth, whether it's on the extreme side of the right or the extreme side of the left, and before I realize it, I'm not going to want to go to the right as much as I did before. When I decided to go back, I'm not tipping as much. Then I'm like, oh, maybe I should. Okay, no, maybe, I'm going to stay right here. Because now that I understand the extreme side of the left and the extreme side of the right, I understand both spectrums enough to know they both deserve to have their own moment at the right time. You understand? And you can't decipher what moment to use at what time if you don't have experience of both extremes. As long as you don't go to the extreme on that side, the extreme on that side, you will always remain in the middle and have love for both sides. Now you become not a cast out. You don't become a sellout. You just become a person that helps people bail out. Does that make sense? You don't become a cast out or a sellout. So nobody's throwing you away. And you're not throwing yourself away. You help people understand how to get themselves in the middle, to understand both sides of the spectrum, get to a place of love, balance, tranquility, understanding, purification. See, that's like me knowing I'm living in hell, knowing there's a heaven, but rejecting everything from heaven, or living in heaven and not wanting to know anything about hell. But what's the point of really me fulfilling my place in heaven if I'm not being an asset to heaven to battle hell? How can I be an asset to hell if I'm not battling heaven? Sometimes we have to understand what it's like to have a natural experience. Okay? Having a natural experience as a spiritual being will help us understand how to manage the battles of middle heaven. Middle heaven is the ultimate place, okay, to where heaven and hell battles it out. You understand? If you don't understand middle heaven, fact check me and tell me I'm wrong. I want you to. No, I'm really encouraging you. I'm not trying to pop my collar. I'm not trying to throw my weight around. I really don't mind being fact checked. If I'm wrong about anything, please tell me. Leave a comment below. Please. Now, the reason why I came up with MSAWAYKIN is, first of all, the acronym goes like this. Because I know where I came from. Ancestry. Now I know who I am. Worth. Now because I know who I am, I get to move in who I am. Even if it means I've never been exposed to it, which means what? I have to expose myself to it. Acclimate. Being ever-changing and ever-evolving. Yielding. As I know who I am, know what I'm worth, know what I should change myself into being because of my worth. Now I get to know what gets to stay, what gets to come, and what gets to go. You understand? What gets to stay, what gets to come, and what gets to go. I can't make room for what's coming in if I don't let go of what needs to go. And there's some things I need to keep for myself because that old landmark helps us understand our root decisions. See, some people don't understand what root decisions are. A root decision is when you think of like a parable like a root of a tree. You know, the root of the tree is in the ground, you know, and the root of the tree is in the ground because that is the foundation. That is the base that makes up the life of the tree. The life of the tree gets to grow up to a certain degree with a certain strength, with a certain bark, with certain leaves, okay? And they change out certain types of ways in different seasons. So when people see different parts of you in different seasons in your life, you're not crazy. You're just compartmentalizing for the moment. Understand that. I understand what that's like because when I was in my early 20s, I was diagnosed with BPD. If people don't understand what that is, it is not bipolar disorder. It is borderline personality disorder. I had the mental health conditions for such a long time. And I learned that in yielding, even though you may need something for a moment, you don't need it forever. That's why I thank God I no longer have to take depressive pills. I no longer have to be post-traumatic. I no longer have to go to asylums to get my head together. I no longer have to worry about being suicidal or homicidal. I've been all of those things. You understand? You understand? Y'all not talking to me. Y'all not talking to me. Y'all don't want me to talk. No, I don't think y'all want me to talk. But I'm going to keep going just in case y'all want this for real. Because I want to give this to you for real. I need you to understand the rawness of Jasmine Margaret Green, okay? Without understanding the fullness of who somebody is and letting them see your full authenticity, you run the risk of hiding vital parts of you that can help save other people, that can help people that are captivated be set free. You understand? Then now your power don't go any further. Lord Jesus. Let me keep going about the acronym because I'm about to move into the spirit and I'm not ready for that yet. We're not in that portion of the video yet. I'm gonna hold on to that spirit. Now the yielding portion of me, knowing what is to come, what is to stay, and what is to go, is because now, for one, when it came to the medication thing, I started to have out-of-body experiences to where I didn't know what day it was, what time it was, and I still had children that needed to be fed. I still had a house to clean. I still had children to clean up after. I still need to keep a smile on their faces. And it was all up to me. But how can you do it if you barely know who you are at that moment? You're so tired, sleep deprived, but you slept all day. It's the pills that you're taking, baby. You know, the pharmaceutical company's job is not to get you better. It's to make you believe you need their product to get better. That's why you end up with other ailments that you never thought even existed or have a name for it. That you didn't even know that there was research for it. And then there was. What is pleurisy? I have it. It's called lung pain. Do I take medication for it? No, I don't. No, I don't. But you know what pleurisy is? It can be fatal if it's bad enough. I've had an episode. I'm just going to talk about my health when it comes to the whole yielding thing, because some people yield too much to pharmaceutical options, okay? I know a brother that takes more medication than my parents. That man is in his early 40s. My mother is 64, and my daddy will be 70 on October 22nd. And this man in his younger 40s takes more medication than both my parents put together. Okay. Now, while I feel for the brother, I can't say, brother, don't take those medications. It's going to kill you. I have to slowly but surely tell him how to yield and wean. See, when you yield, you give way to something. You give up your willpower to something because you see a greater purpose because of the greater power in that other thing. But when you wean off, you're pulling yourself back from what you once yielded to, because now you realize there's a better way to deal with what it is you gave your time to, your energy to, what you gave your body and your soul to, what you allowed to captivate your body and made you feel like there's no other way out of this ailment. There's no other way out of this iniquity. There's no other way out of this soul tie. There is no other way out of this abusive and toxic relationship. There is no other way to get away from this narcissist. There is no other way to shake this Jezebel. You understand where I'm going with this? I really hope you do. Now, moving on. This is what yielding is about. Knowing what's for you and what's not. For every rise, there is a fall. You can't ascend at any level, or any time, in any way, without allowing something to fall off. And sometimes people don't need to fall. The shedding of your shell is what needs to fall off. No cicada, okay? No turtle, no snake, no reptile that's growing would not shed. There's not a single one. What is it, a hermit? Or a hermit crab, whatever you want to call them, the little creepy things, they look like spiders, but there's little shells over them. They will never shed until they felt the need to. The only reason why they feel the need to is because they outgrown something. You understand? That don't mean they stop living. They just find themselves another shell. And usually when they do, they find something thicker, they find something bigger, they find something more indestructible, they find something more intimidating to their predators. Somebody needed that. See, I done did it too soon. That's it. Somebody needed that. I'm gonna just try to keep moving on. God. Kinship. I'm just gonna move on because that's about it. Kinship is being able to have that agape love before you get to have the vulnerability to say, I love you, I love him, I love her, I love me, I love them. You understand? Kinship is not necessarily loving on the people that share your blood, okay? Because in the New Testament, Jesus gave us the example. And one of the disciples came to him and said, Jesus, your mother and your brother's looking for you. He said, who is my mother and my brother? You are my mother and my brothers, okay? My mother and my brothers are the ones that do the will of God. And sometimes the people that are in your family are not the people they're not a part of your tribe. You understand? They don't know how to make sure that they are yoked with you in the spirit. They don't know how to break generational curses. If any, they're hoping you don't break them to make them look crazy. Okay? If anything, they don't want you to hurdling certain stumbling blocks just to show them, I'm younger, but I'm better. And it's not to brag. It's just, that's what they'll be thinking. Oh, she thinks she's younger. He thinks he's younger, and he's better, or she's better. When you humble, baby, you don't ask for this. It comes to you. You see? You don't want this because you don't want people to look crazy. Okay? But because people are jealous of who you are, who you became, what you're becoming, your spiritual makeover, it's irritating some people that are supposed to be close to you. You understand? And sometimes kinship has to allow us to force ourselves in a relational and an emotional, intellectual way to where we can still love them where they are. To where now we can be transparent enough with them. We can still be gentle with them. We can still be humble with them. We can still be easygoing with them. We can still laugh with them, regardless of what they did to us. You understand? And it would be hot coals on their head. You understand? That's what that it will place hot coals on their head. Kill them with kindness, baby. Okay? But you still have to understand that even though they're your kin, they're not shipping with you. You understand? There's no shipping. There's no relationship. We're not going anywhere together. Okay? We're not anchored in the same thing. We're not in the same boat. You understand? We are not the same. Okay? We're in the same family tree, but we're not the same. You understand? And even though we're not the same, I can still meet you where you are and love you the way you are. There is this, I'm going to just go off subject just a little bit, and I'm going to go into the I love you and never judging and dig into that a little bit. Then I'm going to tell a little bit of my story. Then I'm going to get a little prophetic. Then we're going to go on home. And God bless you. God keep you. There's this series that I extremely love called How to Get Away with Murder. We all got wicked ways and thoughts and whatever. So don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. Okay? It's one of the best series other than Big Bang Theory. You know, I enjoy stuff that carnal people will overindulge in. All I did was watch all of the episodes. I didn't go back. Oh, well, let me see it again. Let me see it again. Let me see it again. No. I got what I needed. It taught me some things about the law. Despite the fact that I already know some things about the law, because I do pro se representation all the time. For the past 5.5 years, I've been representing myself in court. I know how to draft my own court documents. I know what documents to get. I know how many copies to get. I know how to subpoena somebody. Baby, what you don't want to do is make me want to sue you. You don't want me to sue you, baby. Anyway. Oh, speaking of suing, by the way, let me give you a little bit of let me hit a little something at you. Okay. There is all these scam calls that you get, okay? You can call a consumer lawyer and sue those companies for free. The way you sue those companies is like this. I don't care if you owe them a business, a bill, or what. I don't care what you owe them, okay? You can't do it so many times because too many occurrences will raise a red flag on your credit report. Just heads up, heads up, heads up, heads up. So if you want to sue somebody behind this, after I give you this education, how you use it is on you, okay? You want to be a scammer because other people want to try to scam you, that's on you. Good luck getting a new car in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do that too many times. I only did it twice in the past, 8 years. So, some things you just got to let go of and take responsibility of. But there are some people that will disregard your consumer rights. People will do this. They will call you, whether you owe them a bill or not. I don't care if they're calling as a scam likely, as long as they're calling from the same number or they're calling from the same company, even with a different number. Keep a document of it, put it down somewhere, find yourself a consumer lawyer. That consumer lawyer will sue them for you and you will get up to $1,000 reward without a single dime being paid off for your pockets. Do you understand me? You think I'm lying? Because I got the number. I know who to call. I will say their name, but I dare not. Only the people that I know are going to use it and not abuse it, those are the ones I'll give it to. So you want that information. As a senior fraud analyst, believe me, you could trust me. I work in finance. Anyway. So with scamming or even an overdue bill, anybody calls you too many times, after every time you answer, you say, don't call me again, click. Don't call me again, click. Don't call me again, click. Whether you block the number or not. The same business calling you, different number or not, you document it. After a while, let's say about 4 to 5, 6 months go by, document all of that. Keep a log of it. That's serious. It will work out for you. You give all of that to your consumer lawyer. They then take that record of what you gave them and they will give it to that entity and say, now you owe them money because now they told you to leave them alone and you chose not to. Now you have to pay for dismissing their consumer rights as a U.S. citizen. And the reward is up to $1,000 without a single dime coming from you. They might have to deal with a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Some things may be delayed because the business really don't want to have to pay. They don't want that under their IEN. And then some people don't want to know what an IEN is. It's an employment ID number, okay? It's like it's a tax ID number, if you will, okay? Individual business identification number, okay? Something that's like a sole proprietorship, IBIN or so, whatever. I think I said that right. But yeah, when it comes to I love you, we're moving on. God bless you. When it comes to I love you, we don't understand that sometimes it takes a certain level of vulnerability to break ice sometimes and tell people that you love them, even though they have no drive, wish, intention, or even anywhere in their heart of love to share that they love you. At least tell them you love them. Why? Because then they have no reason to move forward in life away from you thinking, whether you speak to them again or not, they get no right to say, they didn't treat me right. Okay? Now, saying I love you after you punch somebody in the face is obviously not going to work. Okay? I'm talking about if you know you've done something that might have hurt them, and you apologize, you repent. Whether or not you know they're going to accept your apology, that's not an excuse for us to not apologize. That's not an excuse for us to not repent. Okay? That's like not apologizing. That's like not repenting to God for our sins because we don't believe God is going to forgive us. No, we know God is going to forgive us. Right? So we repent. But even if he wasn't going to forgive us, it doesn't mean we still should not repent. And it's the same thing when you tell somebody, I love you, okay? And I should have put an S at the end of this because sorry is a very important word too, and awakins. But anyway, because I love you is a form of apology. It's a part of the apology, and it's a part of a place of repentance. When somebody is truly, truly feeling bad about something that they did, they pour their heart out. Or they're just breaking ice to make you feel better for the moment. Not to placate you, because placating just means I'm doing whatever pacifies the situation so that we can just get over it, not deal with it, dig into the core of the issue and heal from it and understand each other more. Instead, I'm going to hit you with this and expect you to be over it after that. That's not, you understand, that's not the same thing either. Some narcissists will try to switch it up like that, and that's not the case. So I love you is very important, okay? Telling each other how much we love them is also very important. Like I was saying about the whole How to Get Away with Murder series before I got hung up in that. There's this part in the very last season, I think it was the 6th season of How to Get Away with Murder, the last few episodes. Annalise, played by Viola Davis, she put herself in a rehabilitation center to help her with her drinking issue. And this place, you know, people was going wild, grabbing bats, hitting pillows, saying, I'm enough. I shouldn't have done that, this, that, and the third. They kind of beating themselves up, but at the same time healing themselves as they take this toddler, little league plastic bat and beating you on a real pillow. Annalise is the only person not doing anything about it. Now, I guess she couldn't think of anything to say. And that next morning at breakfast, one of the ladies she roomed with, she told her to her face, because they also did an exercise that day where they would have to look each other in the eye and say, I see you and I love you, right? The woman told her at breakfast, because she saw her snap that night, things of that nature, because Viola Davis finally gave it up, or Annalise finally gave up the ghost and told her about her life, what she was running from, what happened, how everybody died, and it was everything was her fault, including the death of her husband and stuff like that, and how she's really scratching the ground trying to make amends with people just to help her career as a lawyer. So that next morning at breakfast, the lady told her, she said, look, I see you and I love you. Sometimes we have to tell each other how much we see them and we love them. Sometimes by just saying I love you is enough for somebody to receive in their spirit that you see them for who they are and loving them past that, okay? The Lord looks past our faults and sees our needs. And sometimes if we could just stop looking so much at the vessel and start looking more at the spirit and the soul and what it needs, start seeing the mind-boggleness of our mental state, okay? Start paying attention to our countenance and how it's falling at a particular moment in our lives. Not because things are just not going our way. It's because it just should be going better because we're doing better. So we should be seeing better results. Sometimes just seeing somebody smile, getting somebody's hug, hearing somebody tell you that they love you, or you just simply seeing that in someone else saying, I love you, is enough. But some people don't understand that. Some people use I love you as a 3-worded sentence for getting what they want, okay? Some people use it to use other people, okay, to use them in the extent that they want. Now, when it comes to never judging, you never judge because there's all types of people out there. There's authentic people. There's lazy people. There's motivational people. There are self-willed people. There are narcissistic people. There are bipolar people. There are depressed people. There are sick people. There are elderly people. There are very young people. There are very gifted people. There are very ignorant people, okay? There are very educated people. There are drunkards. There are whoremongers. There are thieves. There are gangbangers. There are hitmen. There are drug lords. There are lords of empires. There are people that will pull all types of stunts to make sure you never take their place, okay? There are people out there that will try to lord over you. There are certain people that are sensitive enough to try to make you pity them, okay? And while you stand there with conviction, you don't stand there with condemnation, because once you condemn, you're judging. Never judge. It's God's job to judge, okay? The word says, judge not, lest ye be judged. In other words, it's saying, if you judge in this capacity, you will then be looked at and judged at that same capacity. So if you quick to call somebody crazy, there's a great chance somebody's right behind you calling you the same thing. That was for somebody. Y'all want me talking tonight, because I'm on fire tonight. I'm on fire tonight. Y'all not talking tonight. Y'all not talking. When somebody is being judged, that means somebody became the judge, okay? The one that's hitting the gavel, making the sentence. They are the jury, okay? The people that's got everything bad to say about you just because you're on the stand, okay? You have the bailiff that's sitting there constricting you, making you deal with all of the stripping of your spirit because of other people's thoughts of you. And then you're the prosecutor too, trying to come up with all types of stories, situations, trying to use your shortcomings against you as if you're not supposed to be human. So you got all these people in the courtroom that make up one person. Imagine having a group of people that does all of this. You see? And it's funny because sometimes when people judge you like this, when you're God's anointed or you're God's chosen, you will just sit back and observe how people jump on the bandwagon, all because of somebody with a name for themselves, somebody with popularity, somebody that popular opinion is mostly in favor of, even though it's not the right way to do things or think away. Operating that office or that position, deserving of that title or that pay scale. You understand? Undeserving of that woman or that man. You understand? Undeserving of a second chance because they already blew way too many. Okay? So, you got this situation where people don't want to be looked at in a bad light. And so because we're in the age of the counterfeit, you're not judging by seeing somebody's fake. You're being discerning. That's what you're supposed to be. Because God gave us a spirit of discernment. Just like God gave us the spirit of understanding. Okay? The spirit of discernment and the spirit of understanding, it's not the same thing. You have to understand in order to discern. Okay? Some people don't even go as far as understanding before they start discerning. And because of that, if I don't want to understand something, I give no room for me to have a higher level of knowledge, which helps me foresee some things before they even get close to coming to pass. I will just know it. Now, like I said, we all have the gift of these things, but we all don't use it. Just like common sense, how it's not always so common. Discernment is not common. Everybody's given that gift. Okay? But not everybody stirs up that gift. You understand? Because, and it's funny, and everybody's also given the gift of righteousness. Now I'm about to go somewhere. Everybody's also given a gift of righteousness. They're not given a gift of righteousness. At least that's what they believe. Because as long as they know, oh, I'm doing what I want to do, y'all got the gift of righteousness, but I don't feel like doing none of that. At least they're thinking that in their head or subconsciously, whatever. They think they're given a gift of righteousness. See? So now I want to be able to share why I came up with this. In 2017, September 19th was the last day I stood under the roof of my ex-husband. He put his hands on me. It was about a week, and I think I talked about that. Around 2018, I was in, oh my God, I almost had recreational therapy. That's what it was called. Recreational therapy when I went to the Dallas VA Medical Center as a homeless veteran, okay? After oh my God, people are gonna hate me for this, but oh well, somebody needs this. I mean, it's not like they really for me like that anyway. But my entire family could not stand my ex-husband, okay? They couldn't wait for the day that I let him go. And when I finally did, oh, the joy that came over them. But I became homeless. And when I became homeless, I moved in with my relative. When I ran into this relative, when I showed up to this relative's house, my in-law picked me up and brought me to the house with my children. I moved in there with them. I bought them a TV as a thank you for letting me move into their home. And me and my children took the back 2 rooms. They kept the front room. I kept food in the fridge. And things started to happen where, lights would get cut off and things like that. And I just didn't have it. They didn't have it either. You know, I think the light got cut off once. I think something like that. But they worked so far away. One person worked, we was in the middle of Crescent. This is Central Texas now, okay? Hood County, okay? And it was this new housing development compound called Crescent Pods. I lived there for about a year, on and off a little bit. I'm gonna tell you what happened. I lived there with this couple. My children stayed there. I tried to apply to become a Granbury police officer. Instead of them being impressed of a black woman being able to pass the physical exam, because it was not a single person out of color, you understand, not a single one. And there was no women either. So I was really stuck out there. Granbury Police Department. I'll never forget, it was like it was yesterday. I did an interview, and because I left my ex-husband, I bought a gun, okay? I'll never forget, it was a Pavona gun, 9mm, and it was, had a nice little safety on it, had a little trigger lock on it, and then I had my little box with the safety and everything. I had my bullets on the side, everything. I stuck it somewhere. I knew my kids would not be able to reach. They're still little. And I bought it from the pawn shop, bought my bullets, just in case my ex-husband found where I was. And I was in the mindset of any other man that puts his hands on me while I'm going through my little traumatic moment, while I'm trying to heal, they just gonna get shot in between the eyes. That was my mindset. And when I decided to no longer have this gun, it was after the interview I had with Granbury PD. Okay. At the time, I was smoking marijuana at least every morning, the whole wake and bake thing. I did all of that. And I went to Granbury Police Department. I cleansed myself. I didn't have to keep doing the marijuana thing, so I was good. And I stopped. I was perfectly fine without doing it. Like, it was just something to do because I wasn't working, trying to figure out my next move. I'm dealing with my children, taking them to school every day, putting food in the house. I was the only person putting food in the house, you know what I'm saying? And I still shared it, even though I was doing it for the sake of saving my kids, or was feeding my kids and myself. Cleaning up the house, taking care of things like a lady should be. It got to the point, if we fast forward, it got to the point to where I was no longer getting along with the people in the house, okay? All because I said no, they could not use my vehicle because I needed my vehicle to get my children to and from. So they had 2 or 3 vehicles. Their car went down to where they only had 1 vehicle. As soon as one went home with the car from driving all the way from Irving to Crescent, the other one had to pick up the car and drive all the way to Wiley or something like that. Super far, you understand? I want to say it was Wiley though. From Central Texas, okay? Instead of them doing that, because when their cars went down, they actually used my car and I told them no, okay? I thought I was doing the right thing. My car was old. I bought it as a hoopty. It was $950 of money that I had. Now, I already shared my money with them. I already helped them pay for bills. I already paid their rent that month. Even though they offered to help and put it back in my pocket and pay me back a certain portion, whatever the case was, I said no. Just don't hold me responsible for any of the bills because it's equivalent to the rent amount. So fine, you know, but I'm thinking, foolish of me for thinking that I'm safe to stay the rest of the month, until I told them no, they couldn't use my car. It was like it's something about living under somebody else's roof. The more you give them, the more they want, you know, and as soon as you say no, because you know what's more important, your children over them, you know, sometimes it becomes an issue. So I see a post on Facebook. I was friends with them on Facebook, and one of them says, "Devil, you shall not enter thy dwelling." And I just so happened not to be able to get into the house that time. It's hot outside, blazing, stupid hot. I just went grocery shopping. I'm waiting. I'm trying to hurry up and get in there, put the food away so I can get my kids from the school bus stop. I can't get in the house. So I did something a little bit creative. I go in the back. I find a window, try to work it on the outside. Open up the window. I go through the window. And I knew my roommate was in there. or most of the person whose house it was, I knew they were in there. They was probably just sleeping. But how do you not hear me banging on the door? Anyways. So as I'm going in there, I'm yelling at this point because I know for sure they don't want me there. And I know why. It's because of the whole car thing, right? And so what happens is, as I'm getting into the house, I'm yelling, I'm screaming. I was like, this is my house too, because I paid the rent, da-da-da-da. Not forgetting, humble yourself, ma'am, right? Didn't do that. And because the person that I woke up, I was yelling at, things of that nature, I'm hurt because this is the only place I can be. I'm homeless, for Christ's sake. And I paid your rent and you're not letting me in? Like, you don't know I don't need my vehicle in case something goes down in the middle of the night. Who's going to help me take my kids to the hospital? You know? Who's going to help me get around if my ex-husband pops up again? Whatever, right? Because I'm on the run from my ex-husband. This man could find me if he wanted to. You understand? At least that's what I'm thinking. I'm scared because I left. And so they don't understand the situation that they put me in. I didn't have time to explain. I was just too mad. I was like, right? So this man calls the police as I'm walking out the door. He said, yeah, 911. This person just attacked me. Mind you, my back is turned to him. I'm heading towards the side door of the house. Haven't touched him. I just yelled and walked away. He jumped on my back. We got to tussling. He threw me out of the house. And that's when I knew for sure I wasn't going to be able to live there again. I snapped because my mind was hardwired into using that gun if another man put his hands on me. This person was my relative. And so I went in there, got my little one, I got my little clip. Had one in the chamber already. Went to that front door. And I'm banging on the door with the gun in my right hand. I'm banging on the left hand. And I wanted to shoot the door open. I did not. Never pulled the trigger. But everybody that was in that neighborhood that was actually home at the moment, they wanted me to calm down, so I calmed down. Now, mind you, I never laid a hand on anyone. I never laid a hand on anyone. Until somebody laid a hand on me, right? And all I was doing was really defending myself at that moment, right? Because why would you say that I attacked you when I didn't attack you, right? So anyway, and instead you attacked me. So anyway, so at this moment I got to defend myself. You understand? I know this is taking a long time. I'm so sorry. You can log off and come back if you like. And if this is not for you, then perfectly fine. It's not for you. But I wanted to be able to share this because we don't understand what we go through just so we can wake up. That's all I'm trying to say. Because not only did I deal with that, the cops came, they spoke some sense into me and him. He was like, well, she can have the key to the house because I've been asking for the key to the house for the longest. I haven't done anything not deserving of that key to the house. So why not give me the key to the house? If you already allowed me to pay rent. Doesn't matter if you had the money or not, you was going to pay me back. I offered to pay, doesn't matter. If I'm asking you for the key, and I got kids, why not give me the key, right? So I'm thinking, okay, cool. Whatever, they're not going to give me the key. But when the cops came after the whole fiasco, he finally gives the cop the key and the cop gives me the key. But after 3 days of me using that key, I get an evacuation notice on my room door from both of them signing it and the people at the leasing office signing it, saying, oh, we got a video of you waving your gun at everybody. And I did no such thing. I waved no gun. I said, if I did that, show me the video I did that. We can't do that. It's on police files and things like that. Okay, so we want to fabricate stories now. Great. I should have knew enough about that apartment complex then before I got my own place after I left the homeless shelter. But anyway, I left there and I moved into Mission Granbury. Because now at this moment, I'm going to a homeless shelter for battered women and children. Got a nice little room for us. Didn't have to pay anything. All I had to do was work the program. If I had a certain chore I had to do, I had to knock it out. But I also had to drive 3 hours a day just to be able to work, because a part of the program was you have to work. You have to be out the door a certain time, and you have to be back by a certain time. Okay? And that's every single day. So on the days that my children didn't go to school, I had to drive 3 hours a day. An hour and a half, no, 6 hours a day. An hour and a half to drop them off to my mother's house, and an hour and a half to drop them back off to get, and I would have to get back to my electrician job that was only helping me pay for daycare. I was barely making it, okay? And other jobs, since it was not that friendly, they had vacant homes, but they would tell me that there was no vacancy. They had jobs where they had now hiring on the doors, but they would not hire me. You understand? And I got to my wit's end. Okay. I moved in with a couple of people out in Dallas after having my children out there. And these people that I spent my money, that I moved into with, because I worked the 45-day program, but I was still struggling living out there, and with it not being so friendly, I had an issue. I had to leave. I had to go something a little bit more friendly. And so when I went back to Dallas, I'm moving with this couple. When I'm moving with this couple, also family relatives, same family relatives that were happy about me finally leaving my ex-husband, and they were there for me for about 4 days. I'll tell you what happened. Up until New Year's Eve, this man wanted to kind of make me feel better from all the things I was going through. These are all relatives now. The man and the woman, the couple there, and another relative is living with them, okay? Instead of me being treated like an adult that knows what to do, to be under somebody else's roof, giving my last lesson, even though I did nothing wrong, I still tried to make excuses for myself, and knowing where I went wrong. And me knowing where I went wrong made me want to tread a little bit more lightly when it came to being under this roof, even though I wasn't required to pay any bills. Even though there was plenty of room for my children to sleep comfortably. You understand? They got them bunk beds. They let them sleep comfortably. You understand? And this man was able, this male relative of mine was nice enough to get me a few things that I needed, help me get some things done with my hair, let me get a jacket or something because it was cold out, let me, took me place, put gas in my car. That's it. It wasn't much. It's not like both of these family members are relatives, you understand? So it's not like there's a reason for the woman to be jealous of me because of the man, okay? I really wish I could share who this was, who these people are, but I dare not give their identity because I don't want people looking at them crazy. This woman attacked me one day. As a matter of fact, it was Christmas Eve. After everything was said and done, this is after the man grabbed me, after the woman tried to attack me. The man grabbed me and started to bear hug me up to the point to where I was unable, okay, to breathe. I'm already asthmatic, okay? And I'm asking you to please let me go, and all you're doing is squeezing tighter. I have no choice now but to go into self-defense mode. I bit the heck out of his chest. I did, because I needed him to weaken up somehow to let me go. Left teeth marks on his chest. And as I'm doing this, the woman is coming up and trying to break my fingers. Like literally trying to do one of these numbers. Hurt it like heck. Now the younger relative that's living with them is seeing and witnessing all of this. Yelling at them. Telling them, oh, you need to Okay. Now, my children are at the dinner table crying, okay, eating their little Fruit Loops and Rice Crisp and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They're enjoying their breakfast, but they can't help but see that their mama is once again being abused. Just so you guys know, I have to purposely edit some of this because I got too entangled or too engrossed in this story. You guys don't need that much detail. I'm doing it for me. Even though I'm healed and I'm over it, sometimes getting it out is necessary, okay? This is not a therapy session. This is just to help other people understand why it's important to wake up from what you're in, okay? When I say you are more than a conqueror, it's not because it's a cliche and it's something fun to say. It's just some words to throw around because it's mediocre. If I say you're more than a conqueror, it's because I'm a living witness that you can be more of a conqueror, because I'm more of a conqueror. I've conquered so many things. I've done more than conquer things. I didn't just conquer things, I killed things. You understand? I killed situations. I killed habits, okay? I killed ailments, okay? I killed dependency, okay? And became independent, okay? I killed codependency. Other people being dependent upon me and expecting me to feel that same energy for them. I killed it. So you more than a conqueror. You are a slanderer. You are a stripper. Okay? You are a overcomer. That's how you motivate somebody. You understand? That's how you motivate somebody. I'm moving to a homeless shelter. And when I move into this homeless shelter, I meet a guy. He wouldn't leave me alone. The man is about 54, 55 years old at this point. And he's my ex-boyfriend. Got about 19, 20 years on me. Yeah. And I was about 28, 29 at the time. He was about 47, 48. And we dated for a few months. I thought I was being loved in the best way possible until I learned that this man was a thief, a drug addict. How did I know he was a thief? I'm so glad you asked. He stole my car. Not really my car. It was more so like my loaner vehicle that I got from the dealership. And I just dropped off my little Ford Focus in there to get it fixed. I just dropped it off and they gave me a loaner, had a nice little 16 Ford Fusion. And it was something that I needed to do. Okay, so I got my little 16 Ford Fusion and I did what I needed to do. I let him use the vehicle one day. He never came back. He waited 2 months after the car was long gone. After I made all types of police reports, all types of searches being made just to find this vehicle, and there was no finding it. There was no finding it. But when I finally did, my work boots were gone. My working equipment were gone. I mean, like, all of my expensive tools to do my electrical work, my hard hat, my reflective vest, my steel toe boots, you understand? My gloves, my hammer, my wire strippers, you understand? My dikes, you understand? My wire cutters, my belt. I don't think anybody really understands how much all of those things alone cost. And all of that was gone. Not only that, but my children's documents and my documents were gone. They were all in the back seat. So he stole that vehicle. I was still able to get my vehicle from the Ford dealership, but it was like, where's the 16? Oh, it was stolen. Here's a police report. Nobody wants to hear that, right? Where's our car, right? That was part one, okay? Of what make Miss Awaken, Miss Awaken. What makes Jasmine Margaret Green, Jasmine Margaret Green. I'm not ashamed of my name, never have, never will be. because I understand my ancestry, where I come from, my worth of who I am, how I ought to acclimate, be ever changing, ever evolving, how I ought to yield, knowing what needs to stay, come and go. Okay, what's for me and what's not. Kinship, finding and knowing what my tribe is, who my tribe is, regardless of whether or not I share blood with them. Okay, understanding the term of I love you, knowing how important it is to be vulnerable with people. They choose not to be vulnerable back, that's going to be their problem. They're going to have to answer to God if they reject our vulnerability or our humility, for the sake of showing them a better way to do things when it comes to human interactions, and being totally transparent, never judging, okay? Knowing that it is not our job to judge, because when you judge, you condemned. We cannot condemned, we can only convict. So I hope that that blessed you as much as pondering all of those things has blessed me. I love every single one of you. God bless you and God keep you.